Man, we got a decent amount to go through. So JC or Beta Razor, you're up first. Oh, any advice for polish? Let's switch to this one. Copy image. Okay. Oh, nice. I made the file huge. Okay. So when we're looking at this, um, so right now, compositionally, it's strange to me. Make sure you can hear me okay. Hit me with it. So hit me. Yes. Let's do that. We'll just shrink this down. Need a different brush. Oh no, where did all my pressure sensitivity go? Oh no, it's there. So when you look at your framing, right? Like let's say that's the center of your frame. Wow, that might be weirdly accurate. Uh, your desk is sitting right centered, right? And I think if you were to actually rotate the camera and maybe look a little bit more this way and just move the desk maybe more here, you're seeing more of well, you're seeing more of the side of the desk. But what I think is more interesting is the composition becomes a little bit more interesting. Um, if we go in and like just clear all this, if you look over here, whoop, this area is there's not really a lot going on, but you have a lot of details over here. So it might be worth even rotating the other way and showing more of like the back of the room as well as the desk, right? You have a lot of small details as well. And yeah, so right now I think the number one thing is composition and really finding like a good camera angle. I feel like right now it's just really centered up and in kind of like a odd spot. The light here, I'm not really seeing it affect the glass. The material here, like the phone feels like a more like a toy, right? The glass here feels a little thin. I'm just gonna point out every single thing I see as I go. Um, this guy here feels like it might be a little low poly looking. The roughness on the table itself is really uniform, right? So if there's anything you can do to get that roughness to break up and add like aging or dripping, even if it's very subtle in the edge or very subtle in the roughness, just getting that type of information in there would be good. Um, this chair feels like so this material looks all right, but the majority of the chair feels like a blockout. So you're not really like I'm not seeing a highlight here. I'm not seeing any type of roughness interaction on the surface. Like this, I can feel that this material. I can feel it just based off of the way the lighting is kind of hitting it. You again, how you doing? Um, I really like that this is open, and I think if you have other camera angles, it would be really good to kind of show different stories that are happening in here. Lols, what's going on? Anik, how you doing? Like this is really interesting, and I feel like you're just not. It's almost like so you got one light here and then the light above. I think when you change camera angles and you thank you and you can when you change camera angles and focus on things like this board in the back, right? This is like what is that? What's there? It's hard to see, right? It's being lit by this guy and this guy only. So if you can put like a I don't know, clamped light here that's shining onto the board. It doesn't even have to be in this view. Maybe it can Rego, what's up, man? It could be off as well. It doesn't need to be on in this camera angle. A lot of people think that what's happening in a scene needs to be the same uh, in all shots, but in reality, I mean, if you wanted to, you could clamp lights here and here that shine down like this, but they're off here, right? Or they're subdued. They could be on, but like very toned down. And then you could go back and look at it from another camera angle, turn those up, push the table light down in brightness, and just you're adjusting to the shots, right? But yeah, I feel like where it's lacking right now, there's a lot of storytelling going on, and where it's lacking is just the overall definition of the materials themselves, and the execution of the models are just a little light. Like it's just, it doesn't have the fidelity, I guess, that you're expecting. But yeah, hopefully that gave you some ammunition. Is it Tagu Magu? How you doing? I hope I didn't say anything horrible just now. Let me clear this, wipe that one, and then let's go up here. That is a cool looking material, Antonio. Why is my right click not? Let's do that. Okay, so I'm gonna paste this here, and then we'll look at this one as well. I'm like, what? It's super slow. There we go. No. I think my brain's moving faster than than I can on the computer. Your cat's watching? Dude, awesome. You put a cat translator down below. Meow 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 meow. So this material. Let me make sure I'm not. This material took you 10 hours. Any feedback? So when I look at materials, it's what I like about a material, or when I feel like a material is really good. It's being able to explain not only the material types, right? But it's also describing the properties of that material and adding layers of depth that explain that material's interaction with any other material on it, right? So first I'll say that it's nice that you've got like this rebarb stuff on the inside here. This stuff here, like this stuff's really cool. Adding that type of detail is really useful. Adding some more context where it's like paint, and then these little pebble things is really nice. The damage on the paint is a nice touch. The things that are calling out to me right now, I think, are just really understanding the attributes of the materials that you're trying to show, right? So this paint's really worn. Like that type of cracking. The cracking is just not executed fully yet. And getting that edge to look right is probably the harder part. The amount of age that we're seeing here, I would probably expect the albedo to be quite destroyed. Like you would still see the definition of the stripes, right? But they'd be much closer to being like washed out or bleached out by the sun, for example. The damage here is pretty good. It just feels, resolution wise, it feels a little low. I guess maybe it's because of how zoomed in I am, but you can see all these little rocks are these little pebbles are all kind of the same size. There's this element, which, do you see that? There's like this line here, and then it looks like it's a plus, right? I don't see that anywhere else, and I'm not sure it's here as well, which I think is the same as this one. That's a attribute that is having a hard time explaining itself, and you want to be able to have the viewer be able to understand what the surface is. The lighting doesn't confuse the viewer as to like when I say the lighting, I mean the way the material is reacting to the lighting, and the viewer can understand what the surface is, right? So you have the common attributes of like the rebarb and the destroyed surface, and then you've got this area where it looks like that's not destroyed, but it's a soft gradient to here. There's just a lot of transitions that are happening that's just a little too soft. Dragon, if you remind me, or if anyone in the stream is still here at the end of the stream, if you remind me, I'll bring Badu in here. He's just chilling. He's doing much better, by the way. Much better. The other thing is the paint being so drastic. as far as like the overall surface is very strange to me. Like I'm not sure what type of, is this a rebar reinforced wall that's like how big, like I don't have a sense of scale. Usually when you have this type of material, it's going to be on like, say this is a wall, it's going to be on that lower part of the wall, right? Or it's going to be in a stripe just in one area. So it's a lot of logic that goes into materials and getting that understanding and the of like how the details are interacting with each other. The last thing I would mention is the rebarb area. These rebar beam things, they feel really flat, and they feel like they have the same roughness as the stone. And I think maybe if you can get a little bit more separation on that, that would be good. The paint wear is really nice, and I think if the edge was like flipped up a bit more, and there was like some discoloring, the color of the paint is just very uniform throughout. There's not too much change happening in it, so keep that in mind. This area feels pretty nice. Like there's some lifting going on there. There's a lot of critiques on or not critiques, but tutorials on this types of materials and surfaces, free on YouTube, as well as some paid ones on ArtStation. I would say the number one thing to fix it is to work on your material attributes, like what makes that material look like that type of material. Hopefully that was helpful. I felt like I was just going off. Nerdly, let's check this out. I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna paste this here, and then I'm gonna scroll. Oh, it's just an Imgur link. Let's see here. Right. And I'm just gonna go a little extra further. I don't think it was linked in there. No, you don't have any reference in that file. So it looks like you've got the folding stock version. That's cool. I'm just gonna copy this image. This is one that I found. I don't know if there's much of a difference. I'm not much of a gun connoisseur, if you will. Nancy, what's up? How you doing? Good crit. Thanks, Ollie. Okay, so let's just look at sheer design choices here. Let me see if there's. Okay, no, we've got all the angles that are present. So making sure that you're following a lot of the flows of what's going on here, right? So you've got, let me get a better color that you can see. Nice. So you've got this curve here, right? And then this drops down, and then right at the end it curves out. Whereas on yours, it doesn't. It feels like it's just a continuous flow. I think it needs to do this, and then it needs to go down and then out right at the end there. And some stuff to pay attention to is things like these shapes here, right? Where those are, and in correlation to the edge, and like what is this space here? Oops, that's not really visible. What is this space here, right? And what's see, there's no space at the bottom there. And you can see as you go up, like those look to be relatively aligned with each other. So it's all of these. Yeah, this is an MP40. Defcon's freaking out in chat. Thinking about those and looking at just where curves are, where they happen. Look, there's even like this weird pinch that's occurring there. And then you've got this guy, and understanding where those details are at and how they bend or wear or age is really important. Where are we at here? So you can see with yours, this sticks out, and then this doesn't look like it goes in enough. When you look at the sizes, there's like this dimpling effect. There's a gap in here, and then there's the ring, and then there's this. There's a gap between the ring and the frame, and then the ring itself. The size of this hole and this hole look the same, and it does look like that is pressed in. I'm not sure. DEF CON might be able to correct me, but I'm pretty sure this doesn't stick out all that far. You are catching on to some of the finer details, like this piece being up and then this part going under it, and you can see that here. That's really good. I feel like you're adding some damage where it maybe isn't, and I mean, honestly, for me personally, I don't think I mind that too much. DEF CON. It's okay, man. This type of detail, I believe, is in the roughness. That's great. That's a great addition. What I think I'm reacting to is when you grab like this roughness here and you look at it compared to this roughness, there's just seeing how it highlights, where those highlights occur in the way the lighting is hitting the metal, or the way the metal is reacting to the lighting, and understanding like what type of roughness you're seeing in this area versus like here and here. There's these little nick dings and little like pock marks that are in the metal, and those are going to be, these look like I would do them in the normal, right? Maybe you're having it on your high poly or you stamp them in, but yeah, this is just the technical aspects of like getting this stuff put together. And it gets really important when you start getting into this territory where you're looking at like this. Let's go. We have another. Do I not have a shot of that? I don't have a shot of the nose or the end of the barrel. But either way, if we grab this and bring this over here, and you look at the way the lighting is, man, the lighting in this scene is really intense. It's like a perfectly lit. This gun's going for auction. That's what I'm looking at from this. And this roughness and this roughness, I can't tell. This looks quite shiny, and saturation wise, this has got to be way outside of PBR range. Like, I can't eye drop it correctly to get that. But you're gonna want to, like, if I hang on here, if I grab this really fast and we paste this here, you're gonna want to avoid. For the most part, you're gonna want to avoid. This is eyeballing as well, just FYI. You're gonna want to avoid these areas and stay inside of here, just because going up here is going to be either too bright or too saturated as you go this way, or too dark in the value. So have that stuff in mind. I think where you're struggling right now with this piece is in the material attributes, which is usually the number one. Writes down exact measurements. That's usually the number one thing that is holding someone's work back when they're working in PBR. So keep that stuff in mind. Laura, are you in chat? Remy, what's up? How you doing? You've got a really cool looking scene going on here. Hey, are you at Avalanche now? Is that what I'm seeing there? Let's get these in here. Hey, buddy. Furlo, how you doing? Yeah, signed a few weeks ago. Have you started already? You're scared? Don't be scared, man. It's okay. Yeah, this one's super cool. So, Laura, do you have anything that you specifically want me to... I have a quick question. How challenging is it to model a car exterior and interior in a 40-hour work week? Start in June. Laura, message me in June or tell me when it's your first day. or someone just announce it in the server and let's get you that yellow tag. Congratulations, by the way. 40 hours to model the exterior and interior of a car. It sounds doable, but man, that sounds rough. I don't think you could do it to the fidelity you want. Are we going indie or are you going like AAA? With plenty of experience, yeah, with a ton of experience, maybe. But that sounds like you're going to be doing a lot in a small window of time. Okay, so right now, I mean, you're saying that this is, Laura says, first impressions, thoughts on how I can improve the space. Yes, so when we look at this space, what I'm seeing is actually you've got these screens. This looks like nautical. This looks like some type of underwater base or something. I don't know why I'm getting that vibe, but it is what it is. Is that like it's like a time machine? What is that? Do you ride into this and you're time cop? Oh, please tell me you're time cop. French would be happy. So you've got these screens. I don't know if they're on or off. Stargate? Is it Stargate? Either way, think about your light sources and where they're like what's on. If these screens are on, or these like emissive paneling, it's the Portal Lab from Big Hero 6. Man, I love that. Love that movie. Foozle, we gotta watch that. It's been a while. I need to consume again. So this screen, like getting this UI glowing and really like weighing your lighting through these is gonna be key, right? You can see it a little bit, and like if it's what is that? Is that a puddle? This puddle feels very constructed. I do like the reflection on the floor. It just needs to feel a little more puddle centric. It's glass in the floor. Oh, okay. So I guess it doesn't read like that because you don't have like an edge to it, right? With like buttons or bolts and screws and stuff, trying to explain how stuff is kind of put together. Yeah, some color contrast could help, yeah. You could have some like text on here. You know, that explains like what station you're looking at. Do not stomp. Yeah, maybe some like stuff like this. Just to give you an understanding of like that there's stuff under there. I guess when the camera's moving though, you're really going to see that parallaxing of the stuff moving below. So it may not be translating well currently because of it's still like a still image, and the place looks like it's ransacked, right? So my brain immediately goes, oh, that must be water. So just explaining how it's constructed would be good. Is there more in here? There's this thing here. I feel like I see this. Either way, I'm getting a sense of the space. The lighting feels blocked in right now. This shot is really strong just because you've got this color, right? You're hitting that color, and then you've got red around it, and then it goes to more of this like darker color around the space. And just perfect. It's a red mustache, one-eyed alien thing. Yeah, I really like this one. I feel like right now you're missing maybe wires, cables and wires and stuff. There's a little bit of that going on here. Where is that at? Like this type of stuff. Ooh, like this is all open. Get that stuff out there, right? Just go crazy with it. Like connect stuff that's like fallen out in a logical way, of course. But this scene's going to be really cool. I think with the back wall here, you could probably tone that back wall back a bit in brightness, and that'll really make this area pop even a little bit more. It is already popping quite a bit. Some stuff to watch out for, these tangents. Ooh, I like this. The tangent where the ring is and where it meets the top, you're doing it here as well. Sorry, I'm just panning all over the place. So think about the way that stuff's framing. But yeah, think about where your lighting's coming from. Watch out for your tangents and make sure that you're able to explain everything at a glance, like with these panels that we were looking at on the ground earlier. Like these guys need to be able to understand what they are the moment you see them and not mistake them for something else. Yeah, initial feels is feels good. I think with this space so messed up, I guess, is there an explosion here that caused this damage? Because you're not getting nearly as much damage over here. And there's just a few tipped over things. Oh, see, there's this up here too. Like this is like the planet Earth, right? And it's glowing. So it should be like the emissive should be hitting the ceiling and highlighting these edges. Yeah. Singularity. Yeah, glass would be good. Glass bits. Anyways, hopefully that was helpful, Laura. It's a start to a, I mean, I wouldn't say it's a start. You're already pretty far into that scene, but man, it's looking good. Wow. DEF CON. Why can't I copy this image? So we got this from DEF CON. Is this a suppressor? So nice and close. I'm passing on TV. So material wise, this looks pretty nice. Yeah, I'm sure you're looking at reference. You might want to like make this stuff have just a little bit more contrast, just so that we're seeing it, right? Maybe it's using this color, or maybe it's using this color, right? Maybe I can do it really fast. Oh, it is kind of using that color, isn't it? Because it feels like it needs to be lighter or darker, just so that you're understanding how something's put together. Because like you go back like that, and then you see it, right? I mean, that might be a little too light. I don't know, man. More popping out. Yeah. I mean, maybe not. Maybe you see it because like over here you see it quite well, and I think it's because around it it's darker. So you could just darken around it, right? So let's try that. So this is saturation. Let's go highlights. No, midtone. Shadows. There we go. Okay. Turn this up. So by just adding a little bit of discoloration, you start to get what kind of looks like the natural kind of saturation that happens with use, right? That's kind of what that looks like. Let me just delete those and let's just go in. Because I think this is right now, the material is feeling quite clean. And I think by doing this type of discoloration in the banding, you're going to get a more natural kind of feeling. And maybe you don't even need to make the lines darker themselves. The man, what is it? What is it? The stitching. There we go. But yeah, the overall material is super nice. It feels really good. I wonder if I can do like a I screwed up the alignment, guys. Oh, the game dev discussion posted a new podcast today. It's pretty good. Make sure to check it out. Yeah, so you can see like it's very subtle, but I think that does a lot, and it adds that kind of surface complexity that is missing currently. You can see a little bit of the splotchiness in the values here, and I think getting that into the surface is going to be a really nice breakup for you. But yeah, no, that's super cool. Super cool. Do you have anything else you want me to comment on this? Like maybe this could be like this feels really manufactured right now. I mean, I guess it is manufactured, right? But it's that Velcro that I'm not seeing it yet. Like it's melted a bit, if that makes sense. If there was a way to make it like crisper. Yeah, Velcro's tough, man. If there was a way to make it crisper, I would probably try sharpening it after you've created this and seeing how that feels. Velcro's a tough one. We don't want to talk about it. Either way, that's the other thing I would say. Maybe this, I didn't see this part. These like bracket things feel very thin or flimsy, and I'm seeing like the lower poly count in this stuff here, right? So getting this to feel stronger and understanding what that material is, because right now I don't know what that is. I don't know what type of material it is. It does work at a distance. That's a good point. Oh no. Yeah, that might work at a distance. If it's from a distance, you just want to make sure that roughness is on point for whatever the material type is that you're trying to describe with this. I mean, DEFCON, you're doing a really great job with it's plastic. Okay. You're doing a really great job with weaponry lately. So, well, I mean, lately you've been doing it for a while now, and it's always been quite impressive watching you get better and better at it. Dang, this scene's looking big. Okay. I'm just gonna, we're doing this. Got any things in here? Any feedback would be amazing. Oh, there's a URL for more. I think we can get a majority of it from this. So right now it looks like you've got a relatively big scene. Jasmine, thank you for posting this, by the way. I don't know if you're in chat. Let's see here. Oh my god, what a great username. Jazz the Raz. How you doing? Okay. Good to see you, Jasmine. So we're looking at your scene, right? You've got a shot with the door closed. It's still closed here. So I think with this scene, I feel like I want like a call to action, or like a something that's calling me forward, right? I think having the door open or seeing this glow like you have here, this is calling you forward, right? You're like, oh, I have to go there. I have to see this. Like, what is it? This shot is working really well right here. And then this shot is working well, really, really well right here, right? And then you've got these dope statues as well. I think what's breaking is in this shot, you're not seeing the door very well, right? So the call to action is kind of lost, and you're focusing on the statues. The tree feels strange in the way that it's kind of shaped, and it's hard to define like where, with all the smoke and the fog and stuff. It's hard to understand and define where the tree starts and is. I think I'm kind of getting it. Right? There's some really I don't know if these are roots or not. I'm gonna assume those are roots, like this one as well. And it's low poly, right? It's quite low. Don't worry about poly count. It needs a clearer silhouette. It's just it's hard to see it. I'm guessing let's pan around here a little bit. I'm guessing the albedo might be a little too dark. I could be wrong. There's a lot of fog and kind of smoke in the air that's masking it. But this shot shows the door really well, and I actually like seeing the door along with the statues. I think what's screwing things up is the tree. The tree's taking over a ton of the scene, right? And it's coming in at such an angle that it's just blocking everything. This shot, while it's interesting, feels like this was covered in the podcast that was posted today, and it's watching out for doing too many things, doing too much, right? So getting a really strong camera angle and just working to that shot is going to be key. Whereas this shot feels like this is where all the money was spent, right? But then it's still interactive, so you had to prop the stuff behind so that the player could run around and go there. So this area feels very secondary and doesn't feel like it's got the same amount of love. I'm pretty confident you could pull off this tent area given looking at this. But I would honestly, I would move the tree more to the side. Oh, hang on here. I'd move the tree more to the side and use the branches to frame this area, right? So your branches, instead of coming way out, would be kind of locked this far away. And then making the roots and the tree shape more in line with the style or realization that you have here. This is quite realistic by comparison of the way that the tree's roots are shaped. Like I wouldn't try to make the roots come out so far, and I would honestly just ground it like you would normally see. If occasionally maybe a root will stick out or not, just a little bit further out. But keeping that as like secondary and everything is about this area is going to be really, really nice. With some balance, this scene can be really, really nice. The shots are dark in general, or perhaps the lack of value and contrast. Yeah, I agree with that. If we grab this one and we Control L on that, the balance is pretty good in the histogram. But it's like, see, it's barely snow gives you a weird histogram range, right? Where immediately the snow makes the histogram range meet the bright values, but it's very like mid-toned. So like bringing the shadows down and then brightening it up more, you're seeing more of this guy, right? Dang, this is crazy. Dude, I don't know what's happening behind him, but that looks freaking cool. Is that animated back there? Is this real life? Um, let's just do this. This is some of the stuff I've been doing at work a lot lately. Is just concepting, or like red pens and feedback. So let's just push this all back. Actually, there we go. So what we're honestly looking for is just getting the framing a little bit more in line with what you're trying to look at. Because I think you still want your tree in here, and you want to like just use it to frame the overall shot. Let's just kill all of this here. Because then everything really starts to sit here, and when you start drawing out these lines that separate the scene, like if we just dupe this, we'll just make a new layer. Now you're looking at, okay, you've got this divide, everything's looking here, and then it's about turning the camera. I think if you animate it and you start turning and slowly kind of creeping towards the door, never really going at the door, but just turning it, you're gonna reveal the door. And then I think that glow that's behind the door, if you can animate that so it's got a little bit of like a pulse or a flicker, so it's kind of like maybe fire or an energy source behind the door, man, this scene's sick. And I think as you're rotating the camera, you can take this tree and actually put it on the other side. Because right now, I think, oh man, come on. Let's just do this. You can take this one and put it over here. It's like, can we erase with that? You can do stuff like this, right? And just imagine the tree is on the side there. And as you're rotating, you're seeing more of the trees on the left that are kind of doing the same thing. It's all framing it. Anywho, this is really sick. And I look forward to seeing the final version of this. Just a lot of rambling from me. Why can't I? Oh, there we go. But yeah, and if you really want these tents, use them to support this shot. Like this shot alone, and like framing up the front and center, and using like I'm gonna do it. I don't know if Chris is here, but the Chris Radsby compositional like tall frame. You get that tall frame in there, and you're just looking straight at the door. That's gonna get some likes for sure. Either way, very nice, very very cool. Let's keep on keeping on. Oh man, Nick, you're revisiting the scene, huh? Oh, thanks for sharing. It's me. It's me. So let's go and look at the histogram. So right now, I think you have let's just use the green. We'll do the classic background is green. We'll double click on the layer. Let's crop the black value and show all the pixels that you're missing out on. So all of these pixels are completely black, basically, or almost black. So there's not really any information in there. If you can bring up your mid value, you can actually, sorry, not your mid value. You can, if you bring up your lighting so that your brights and your blacks and your white pixels are more mid-ranged, that allows you to do a lot more post work afterwards if you would like to do it that way, right? You can tune it and get it as close as you want in Unreal, or you can kind of stay inside of the histogram range and then have the room to move around, right? Just make sure you don't have black pixels and you don't have white pixels. The other thing you can do to check that, let's do this. So I'll just paint a little red behind it. If you double click on this layer, right, you can clip the low range, which mostly it looks like it's happening there. Then you can go on the other side, you can clip the high range, and then let's bring this one back. And you can see where the high ranges are going to be. And usually that's going to be these lights, right? Those lights should probably, I would look at some reference, but I imagine your moon would be pretty bright. Did you know about that, Ollie? It's super useful. Let's go in and midtones, sure. See, I expect your sky to be quite poppin', you know? Because you should be seeing the silhouettes of the trees against the sky. Nori, thanks, man. Yeah. I'm trying to think of what else we can look at in here. The other thing is you're losing a sense of the depth here. Maybe I should turn the brightness up on my screen. You're losing a sense of the depth in these under areas, and you can see like if I go in and just like let's do this really roughly. I'm not gonna try and make this perfect or anything. We'll just do that. We'll grab this one too, because you remember this is nighttime, right? So these are already gonna be pretty dark. Just copy and paste those, and then I'll do levels on those. Oh man, there's more of them. I need to do them all because you have to see the difference. Yeah, look at the resolution back here. That's amazing. That compression though. Okay, so if we go in and we level these out, make them darker, and then you think about the way lighting works, right? It's gonna be much softer on the edge here, and then it'll fall back into the darkness. Does that make sense? So like that side will be relatively bright, and you don't want to do it too extreme, too bright on the edge, or you lose the you lose this edge here. But you can see the strength that gives you, and then if you turn that off, it's that depth that you're losing. Fall back into the darkness. Yeah. And remember the color of the sky? Get that blue and everything that's not getting hit by this warm yellow light. That'll do wonders for your scene. Let's see what else we got here. Just if there's anything extra. I really like these seats. I feel like you're missing a trash can, maybe. But yeah, I think it's a strong scene. It just needs those polished tweaks. Anyways, very nice, very nice. Martin, is it Marchechniko? I don't know if I'm saying that right. Let's copy this image. I apologize if that was wrong. Copy image, paste Rooney. There we go. Solid. Wood solid. All right. Here's a block out of a new environment I'm working on. The lighting isn't touched yet, but I'm planning on doing a nighttime do a nighttime lighting. I would love to hear your opinion on it. Thank you very much in advance. Your immediate thought is that the color palette is a bit limited. Yeah? Ollie, dude, spot on. It's just a little too gray, right? No. Okay, so if you're going for a nighttime shot, I would immediately commit to that. Because that's going to tell you how much that you actually need to build. Right? If it's quite dark here, I would make it a nighttime shot immediately. Get all the lights in and start playing with where the lights, like what the lights are showing. Because like for example, like my immediate reaction on how stuff is looking is like, watch out for this under area here, and like making sure that this looks interesting. But if this is nighttime, you're not even gonna see that area. You know what I mean? It'll be there, but it'll be too dark. Like it won't be a focal point. What'll be a focal point is like understanding where your lights are. What do you want us to look at? There's this, right? I'm getting some like some Jay Cummings action going on here, where it's like, take this, open that up, have the light kind of spilling out from it, have these lights You've got these lights here. These ones don't really, they have a very weird scale to them. And I think if you really want to like push the scene, you have to have the scale locked in. So like I don't see a character anywhere. Get a character in here and just make sense out of these guys. Like if I were to trace this, right? Let's just do that and then we got our little light thing here. I'm bright. And then you take that, let's copy this, paste, and then let's just scale it up here. I feel like you're going to benefit more from it being bigger, you know? But with that said, look at the framing and see, it's so weird to me that these are so close. And with the structure being here, and like for safety reasons, you're going to want to like, you would want, how would this go? You have the train come in. You got people working around this area, around here, right? So there'd be people standing here. That means there probably needs to be some type of system, depending, of course. Let's say someone, oops, down here. Let's say there's a control thing here and they have to press a button. So there's buttons here. And then, yeah, so there's a panel. That means there probably needs to be a light source here, right? Maybe there's a light source on this side as well. Maybe it's just on one side. But think about all the usage of this. The operation of this, design-wise, like there's these stairs. Stairs are okay. They're pretty steep. I would look at how steep stairs usually are. And then for this ladder setup, there would not be a ladder there. I'm almost positive. Just because, like, how often are they using this to get up here? This is also quite an interesting shape. Like if you were to take this little water tower thing here, right? And then really use that as like a source for scale, like an understanding of scale. Because see, right now I have no idea how big this is. Like what, I don't know what this height is. It must be quite high because this is a train, right? But then these are pretty big, so I don't have a sense of scale currently. Either way, it's looking cool. I would just commit to the nighttime. Fun fact, steam engines are filled with giant water towers located on the sides of the tracks. Oh, Polygon. Dude, 8 months. Thank you very much, dude. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the progress of this. I would commit to the nighttime shot and really think about what the focal point is. I feel like it's here. Get the scale down and figure out like how figure out what the focal point is with lights. Nighttime, focal point, scale. Those three things. Because I'm pretty confident in the way you've been modeling stuff, you'll be fine. It's just scale, the lighting scenario. Yeah. Cool. All right, Nori. It's your turn. It's your turn, Nori. Watch, Mom, I'm about to get punched in the face. I think a really good critique is not necessarily a punch in the face, but is kind of unexplainable in the physical reality. It could be like a soft punch that continues to go into your face and cause the same amount of damage as a real punch. And then you enjoyed it, right? Just imagine that. This kind of gives me some what is that game called? The one where you have to extract and you can die. And Tarkov, yes, it's very Tarkov. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you very much. Where's the first shot? You're missing a shot, huh? So this one feels very Tarkov. The reason being is the surface details are kind of like really popping everywhere. You go pretty extreme with the lighting here. It's very stylized, right? So that red and then green lights. So the colors that you're choosing. Do you have reference somewhere? Critiques lighting, composition, color, camera angle. So this camera angle is good. I think this is fine. You're looking down a hall. There's a divide here. You're looking this way. You got a light source here that makes you look this way. This is nice. You want to see this edge. I want to see like an edge decal on there, just breaking up that edge so it's not so like hard, sharp. You've got some pretty nice details here. Is that wire? It's very samey right now. Like it looks identical, I guess. I think I would pin it and maybe like hang it every once in a while. This light's interesting, but it feels really weird to me scale wise. Like there's a lot of scale issues going on here. All of the damage on the wall is very uniform. The paint looks like it was poorly painted. Like you want that paint nice and clean, right? Like they went in and they're professional, right? They went in there and painted it up. And then like aging wears it down. So it needs to be straight, and then wherever it wears down, it wears into the space, right? It never goes above, because it's not how paint works. But if we delete this, let's put it on here again. Let's zoom in here. So you've got some issues where like the paint goes up and then back down. So that feels very weird. There's some contrast in the materials, as well as like this black value for the spray paint might be too black for PBR. I'm not really a fan of unfamiliar lighting color. Like this color feels very weird unless there's like a red warning light, right? And then you're like, oh, okay. Like this is really strange that this is green. There's a light back here that's very simple, and it's not being explained anywhere. I think this shot's pretty cool. This brick, I would just like, if you could move that brick over here. I mean, you've got one here, right? But if you could move that brick right here, then you have this like this effect where everything is kind of pointing that way. Right now, this is like, hey, look, where you want it more open here and kind of pointing towards this area. That, you know what, that black paint might be okay. It's not, that paint looks super fresh. Like it's very muted, but new, right? You're not seeing the aging that is here. You're not getting that in the paint. And I think I feel like you need to understand spray paint a little bit more, with like where like they maybe they start spraying here and then they go down this way, and then maybe it takes a little while so it drips. That type of detail, like it'll end up pooling here because they ended up staying in this area for too long. That goes a long way. But I think the amount of detail that you've got going on in here is pretty good. Again, it's your material definition. Yeah, it's your material definition. and understanding like what is this made out of? What is that made out of? Like this guy feels really, really low res. Like I think I see nails in here. Is this my pen? What's happening here? Yeah. Yeah, I think I see nails in there. But I'm not getting like, dang, you modeled this, didn't you? It's like it goes like this, down, up, like that. Or sorry, there's a block here that goes over, and then these guys are nailed into the. That's what's going on. That's what's up. I think that's fine. I would maybe make these just a tad bit thicker and just, you don't have to bevel all of them, but bevel these outside ones. Maybe this inside one, because those are like the majority, like large scale edges that you're going to see. And as long as those are beveled, you get a nice like light wrap around that edge. I like this piece here. I just don't know where it's coming from. Is there supposed to be a third one here? And like, is there supposed to be this many pieces? And we're missing 2? This is very red. It's probably too red in the albedo range. But yeah, this shot's pretty cool. I think where this one's working is this spot right here. And it's getting the definition in your material. I don't know if you're using detail normals, but get some detail normals in there. Normally it's 5 planks. That's good to know. What is it? 2 on the outside and 1 in the middle? It's like 2, 1, 2. So also watch out for, I can see the, like this shape here, I can see the node that's used for this, you know what I mean? Yeah, this edge too, watch out for these. This is a perfect opportunity for you to take all these little props that you got, little rocks and stuff, put rocks here, maybe a brick is there, just breaking that edge up. You can even take like if we erase this, you could take a dirt pile, right? And then raise it up and then put it back down and just like blend that into the ground below it. And this can be like curving up, right? So then you can place that wherever you need those, just to get rid of these edges that go, hey, I'm geometry. Like look, I'm 3D. That's why I'm always like, watch out for bevels, get rid of the edges being sharp. Man, this angle is weird because I'm like, is that level there? What's going on here? Like I expect it to be, but I think it's how extreme the FOV is. But yeah, and then this shot actually, in my opinion, is the strongest of the 3, and I think it's because it's more relatable within the lighting. The aging on this wall is freaking sick. That is so cool. I would get some drippage here, just to show some of that connection. The tiles broken on the ground, I don't think happens as much as tiles falling off of the ceiling. Like tiles that are on the ground usually peel and then like rotate and kind of move away. Kind of like this. This is maybe a little too broken, or the breaks look too manufactured. Like they would more or less break along like a single edge and then just be kind of straight, or like a single like round curve to them. But this shot specifically is quite good, and I like the focus of like how this is all kind of blurry. You could maybe trim it just a little bit. Like it's good to see the tubes here. Those are pretty bright though, man. Let me just magic wand this. Let's paste those. Filter, blur, Gaussian blur. We'll lower it a little bit. Let's go up here, delete. And then take this whole image. Let's just bump it up. Highlights. Oh man, hang on. Let's just delete. Let's delete the blur I did. Let's pump up the mids. Because basically what I want is the ceiling to be brighter, right? And then you have these areas, which are your highlights. Getting these to pop was really, really nice. There's lighting in the back there as well. That's interesting. So this back area is, I would say, maybe a little too bright. Let's see. Midtones. Shadows. So you don't want it too... I mean, there's not much you need to edit here. I like the desaturation of it. And I would really define this metal. Like this metal is very... It feels like it's supposed to have the highlights, even though it's aged. Right? It would be like the highlights that are being broken up by the range that's on the surface. Super cool though. Really, really cool. I really love this wall. Oh man, yeah, that's awesome. Hopefully that was helpful. All right. Is it Mesai? Or yeah, Mesai? Let's see here. I don't know what you specifically want critiqued on this. It's so weird because at initial glance it feels real. And then you get in close and stuff doesn't really feel right. And I think a lot of it has to do with the modeling. But the reason it feels real is the way the lighting. What's your new favorite word, Ollie? Danglage? It's just lacking the danglage. Yeah, so initially the way the lighting is kind of casting on the back wall here, like over here, and on this, it feels quite real. And even here, like the material feels... I'm like, is this real? What's happening? It's not. It can't be. Danglage. Lighting wise, this is quite impressive, and the materials look pretty good. These chairs stick out like a sore thumb for, like this chair feels stylized, like maybe Lego stylized, if that makes sense. Just the way it's like the way the shapes are, like it feels casted, like Gumby, cartoonish. Yes, and there's the definition in the shapes feels really strange to me. So like you don't really understand. You're like, is it like a varnished plastic? Like in here, you can tell like this is geometry. This just feels like geometry. And I think a lot of it has to do with like this surface here just feels like plastic. The definition of the materials doesn't match what you're seeing on the floor. Like that floor, that looks real. Like that might even be like Megascan action going on there. And the lighting over here feels real. But like you have these, what are these blinds things here? And those are quite wide and quite separated from each other. I like the touch of the curtain curving here and like kind of resting on the couch a bit. This curve feels a little artificial, but there's some nice attention to detail, and then there's just areas where it completely falls apart, which is like the chairs and the table. This seat as well something feels off about it. Maybe it's just not deep enough. It feels really shallow. Those are a type of window, really. Man, that's where things get weird, right? Because like video games have kind of an averaged reality, and when you start to bring in elements that people aren't familiar with, that's when you start to like people are like, is that real or is that, you know what I mean? Are those Asian windows with glass slates? See, there's a lot of different windows that, and like the more unfamiliar you become with it, the more like, what is that? Jealousy glass? The more unfamiliar you get with it, the more it's like, oh, I don't understand. Yeah, it kind of looks like that. Flip flops. Is this gonna work? Yeah. So I guess in that case, those should be pretty clear and almost not visible. You should be seeing the edge and like kind of that bluish. It's more Caribbean. Interesting. Um, it's really interesting. Is the ceiling looks really dark, but I think that's still within range. Are you using a lot of scan materials in here? Because I think the only things that are really breaking down are the stuff on the table, like the chairs and the table itself. The glass looks okay. It's really clean. Yeah, the subtle light from the windows and the door are really strong. Android photo vibes? Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. I don't have too much to say on this other than compositionally. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to look at. It kind of feels like a picture that someone, like if you were to give it to a kid, a camera, and they just took a picture in the living room. It's like that angle. There's not really a focal point. There's not really anything specifically drawing interest, but overall, the image is there and consistent for the most part, other than like the chairs and the table. But yeah, yeah, this is super uncommon in the US, I think, as well. But it exists, especially after Googling it. So I would say it's more about figuring out where your camera needs to be in order to make it an interesting composition. Or else I'm gonna mistake it for reference. Matte 3D. We're gonna jump over to the next one. Uh, Mess, I hopefully that was helpful. I'm gonna give you the community as well. When people post in here, they're sticking their necks out, you know. So when you stick your neck out, I need to make sure to give you community because getting critiques is probably the number one way, or like being out there. Uh, that's the number one way to get uh, recognized, to get better, and you just have to get over that fear. I'm gonna clip this edge off here. We won't miss those pixels, I swear. Any feedback would be appreciated, though I'm really trying to improve the mood, lighting, and composition. So this has got some creepy vibes going on. Oh, what is this? This is very familiar. I think Ollie knows. Is it Bloodborne? Man, I should really play those games. I'll probably hate myself afterwards. Bloodborne. Let me just pull up some imagery. As a crazy looking game. Okay. Okay. It's kind of taking it all in. So what I'm noticing is Bloodborne's pretty let's hang on here. Let's just grab this color and we make the background that so we can not be our eyes skewed by the darkness around it. Um So I would say for the most part, you've got the mood there, right? But these light sources are super tiny. These ones that you're placing in here, these guys, like I would scale those up and like let it hit the under edges of these, like it hits this, highlights this stuff. There's so much stuff that you're not seeing. Do you know what I mean? Let me see if I can, like if you could get that red edge there, oh man, that look, and then like underlit on this stuff here, oh boy, man, that would look sick. And then it's just like now you're seeing the, you know, all those lines are telling you to go this way. Is this like very common with the arch and the arch that's offset? Because these arches are like, it feels like this one should actually be here. I don't know. Because I feel like I'm centered up with this one. These are interesting as well. Man, hang on here. Is this a specific area in Bloodborne? Or did you make this up? You shifted them because it felt really rigid. I mean, architecture tends to be quite rigid. I would say the sewers. All right. Wait, so this is supposed to be the sewers? Oh, I see. I'm watching a video on it now. Man, there's some weird detail in this game. It's like it's framed very strangely. Anyways, let's paste this in here again. So you want to be able to see everything, right? So let's turn that up really quick. It's okay that you're seeing everything, but it still needs to be dark as well, right? I think for the most part, you have everything there. These elements that are coming in, you have to remember what those do to the space, right? They're shrinking this visible space gets shrunk down every time you add those types of details. I guess there's a lot of ladders in this game I can see. Getting those ladders kind of detailed out is going to be important. But it looks like right now you have large propping like this. These are also level, which I would try and stay away from keeping all of these level. I would straighten these out because offsetting structural detail is just jarring. Like buildings aren't built like that, right? Unless you're in like Dark Souls. Dark Souls does weird things. But to the average viewer who doesn't know what Bloodborne is, or they just see this, that's what they're gonna think about, right? But having like you have a little coffin thing here, which I'm seeing a lot in the video as well. There's tons of little things. The angle of this could be less into the space, right? And more like this. And that would actually allow you to stack up a bunch of stuff. I would just make a bunch of like little grass things in here too, and just small boxes and crates and things. And you can have like one big one here, and then like maybe you take that coffin thing, put it over here, and you're just detailing out details along the edge, the outside, right? That lead inwards. That's I think that's what you would want to do. And then if you straighten these out, if it's too rigid to you, oh yeah, watch out for this tangent. You see how I'm doing that with the box? Um, if it's still too rigid to you, tilt the angle of the camera to be just a little bit more off, right? So then you're looking down the way and not directly down. Trying to see if there's anything else that's in this video that I'm like, oh, you should definitely be adding those types of details. Yeah, they've got barrels and man, there's all types of weird stuff in the Hanging cages. Oh my god, that would be sick. So yeah, these details up here are very reminiscent of the game from what I can see. Um, Overall, I think you're heading in the right direction. It's just correcting all these details or these like larger structural stuff and then getting these like smaller details on the sides and then thinking about how you're going to build the ground. These guys, I don't know. I don't know about them yet. They're very samey. Oh, they even do sandbags and stuff. What? This game is weird. There's ladders everywhere. I guess so I am seeing some stuff where like they have this entryway, right? So this is like a sewer grate entrance. Let's just draw like we're seeing behind it. And but then they have this smaller one and then they have like water dripping down that and going down this thing, right? But then they also have a lantern here. And I think if you have a lantern there, that would explain your light source. Because right now I don't have a way to understand what the light source is that you're displaying here. This the God Ray comet, I totally agree. I love the whole God Ray look. I would suggest, however, taking that and instead of bringing it dead on up here, I would probably let's just do this. We'll just wipe this out like this. And then let's do this. Oh. So you probably want that the moon, to be more over here, right? Because then you're gonna get those rays that you're looking for. You get those like coming this way, which could look pretty cool. It's much more dynamic and kind of helps you break up this space that you're trying to break up to begin with. Bronze, what's up? How you doing? Anyways, I've gone pretty deep into that one. I'm gonna move on, but hopefully that was helpful. Uh, Mac, was it Mac Riddle? Like, how you doing, man? Let me give you that community. Let's see here. Oh yes, I saw you working on this actually. Let's copy this and bring this over here. Is that a is that a baguette? Oh, you're at Fire Sprites as well. Nice, man. Tell Amber hi for me. Well, I guess remotely, right? But yeah, this is that's a I mean, I don't necessarily know what it is, but I see that there's cheese and a baguette in here. Everything is very contrast heavy, and I think it's from a concept of, let me see. Is the concept linked in here? Man, your high poly looks ace, dude. Like this stuff. There's some nice those are some cheese holes for sure. This edge maybe is a little sharp. This guy here. But maybe that's part of the design. There's the concept. I see it. Oh yeah, it is in the design. Okay, so let me bring this in here. Okay, so there's a wax on the outside of the cheese. I would really have pushed the cheese further. Push the cheese further. Cause then you would have had like this wax outside, you know, which will have a different roughness value. And then you could really like cut those cheese holes and get those shadows and the depths in there. How's this machine work? I don't I don't know, man, but it comes with 2 baguettes. I'm pretty sure of it. I think it goes on your back. It's like a backpack. Some cheesy feedback. Can you imagine though the roughness of cheese and then the roughness of this wax material? Oh my god, it looks so good. You could get some like subsurface stuff going on there, and you can actually see the holes on the other side of the wax, but they're like really diffused. Oh, that would look just delicious. Let's see here, but you can see how there's already so much detail going on in the concept that you're gonna want to watch out for going too far, right? So if we get rid of these two, the details that you've got going on here, like there's a lot of information in the roughness or in the normal, which could just be in the roughness, right? Like this, all this noise here. Let's go to our cheesy yellow for the sake of the piece. All the noisy normal information around here and on the just on those edges, putting all of that in the roughness would go really far for you. There's also this normal information that's going left to right. Is that in the concept? No, it's not. Okay. That looks like a machining process, that type of line work in the normal information. And in that case, it would go this way, right? It'd be cylindrical, which would also like really get the cheese to be popping cheese. Um, and then you see this line, the lines are going here too, which to me is like showing that these aren't separated or they were cut together as the same. And that's just feels weird. It feels weird to have this detail here along with this detail. There is a lot of information you're putting in here though. I really feel like your normal map is just too busy. But yeah, I think the wear should be cylindrical in pattern because it's just like how the machining process would work. Um, the difference in the metal here versus the wood is pretty good. And again, I think if the contrast in the normal was lower, then you could really start to get the like a shine or a sheen on the wood itself. Like this is also, it's like hyper real. Does that make sense? Like this doesn't really feel like a rubber to me. And that was freaking satisfying. That felt good. Um yeah. It's all about those material definitions. These areas I think is where you could let the normal help you a little bit, like you have. But for a majority of it, I would just really tone it down. This sounds crazy, but you could take all of this normal information, make it in one normal map, let's say in like Substance Designer, right? Or Substance Painter, and then do another normal where all of those details aren't, and then paint a mask and softly bring it in where you need it to be like crunchier. So that way it's not so intense. And then like if you were to do albedo only, it's the contrast of the values between the colors. Like the contrast between these two in value, get those a little closer together, and I think you'll have a less busy surface that's still reminiscent of what you're seeing here. And like you see the roughness of this is the same as kind of the roughness in here, at least as far as I can tell. And this is the kind of the same roughness. If you could separate those three into different roughness categories, you would get a variation that helps you understand that this is paint, this is exposed metal, and this is like another type of paint on the top there. Pretty sick though. Kind of want a baguette now. Daniel Torres, nice Santa Claus beard. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, you finished the Grand Space Opera. Oh my. Hey Mac Riddle. Hey, thanks for sharing, man. That's super cool. Let's bring this over. This reminds me of Tekken Concrete. I don't know if you know what that is. That's just an anime movie. Hey, it's me. How you doing? This looks pretty cool. There's a few shapes that are a little too simple for me, like these cuts. But I think if they just followed the angles that you're seeing here, like if this one, if it just came up a little bit, that would go a long way, I think. If it was like that. Really interesting piece though. What is this? What is this thing? You've got a fly through as well. Oh boy. Oh, those are some cool. Let's bring this down here. Really like the effects you have happening around the sphere. Every once in a while you had one jump out really far. That would be sick. Man, I really feel like a lot of people went with this very stylized. There's like a giant, like a space giant spilling milk in the distance. Oh no, my milk. Oh, are those stars on that sphere? What? Oh, that's a nice little roughness detail you got going on the sand there. Oh yeah, Ollie. No, this is super cool. So hmm. I don't think I have too much to say on the. I mean, I don't know what this is. I guess it's a pillar. There's some really cool stuff going on here. So you have these like little black lines kind of whipping around the asset. If every once in a while you had one that like shot out way out here and then came back in and just didn't happen again, and then another one just just very rare by comparison to the rest. It would feel insanely unstable. I mean, it already looks pretty unstable. Uh, so I guess this was inside of here. I think having the pieces have a little bit more logic to the way they're kind of going away from that point would be really good. But really interesting piece, really engaging. These like single blades of these like little patches of grass are a little strange to me. I think if they were to be happening, you're gonna want to have them happen in larger patches and then kind of fall off. And then where you have things kind of clipping into the ground is a perfect opportunity to use the grass to uh, try and ground things without it looking like they're just clipping into the ground, right? Got some ideas to add Oreos around. Yeah, this is definitely some like if you just replace these spheres with Oreos, that'd be amazing. You're really missing the like stars effect that you get in the video. Um, very stylized though. It also kind of looks a little bit like that stylized Prince of Persia a little bit. You gonna see how to make it happen? Make those giant Oreos. I don't have too much to add. What are those? Look at these guys. They have little eyes and stuff. What are those? I feel like it's like the stuff started happening, right? Let me just grab one of these. Cuties. It's like the stuff started happening, and then this guy's like, guys, what is that? Is that Frank's house? you know, and then he's like, what? That's, I feel like they just hop around like. Oh man, this is super cool though. It's very simple. I think if I had to say one thing about just the overall design, it's maybe just taking these edges and just beveling them. Just a really like a nice wide bevel. Character art category winner. what what is that? What? Huh? I'm going crazy, guys. I think I'm going crazy. This whole working from home thing. Very cool though. Very cool. The palette is so unified. I like that. I don't have too much to add on it other than nice job. And if you haven't heard of it, Tekken Concrete, very amazing environments. I'm probably saying it wrong too. Tekken Concrete. Anime. Tekkonkreit. Tekkonkinkreet. Oh, hang on here. You see the top left? Like you can see, man, the art style. Like look at that. So cool. Anyways, it reminded me of that. So nice work. All right, Charlie. Hey, I'm working on this piece. First personal full environment since a long time. Practicing ZBrush on this one. The red light on the ground will come from a torch. Thank you for the context. Let's copy this. Paste. Whoa. 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 That's a spicy chest if I ever saw one. Cool. I mean, this looks. I think it's going pretty well so far. I would definitely push the design of this. You know, when I say push the design, I mean like, you know, like that. No. uh, I think really exaggerating this chest and making it menacing and like stylized, I think is would be a cool approach. Like it can still be, you know, this kind of comical thing and be in an environment that's quite realistic, but be like stylized in its shape, right? I don't know how you would. I wonder if you would do maybe something like. I'm not sure, but it could really use the details to help like push the character behind it, right? And that's brutal, man. I don't know what this is. Is that a tongue or what is that? Whoops. But it's a little early to I the torch being over here. I feel like it needs to be over here, and I would really try and figure out where it's the guts. Nice. Yeah, like meat eating plant. Yes, but I feel like that torch should be more over here because think about where the guy was standing, and well, does this move? Because maybe that should be more here. Because then it would, if the guy's right-handed, then the torch would have landed here when he like leaned forward to the chest, and then bam, it slammed shut. Just boof, it ate half of him, and then you'd have like blood all like up this, right? I think so. And then it would have spilled out all around here, and then his legs. And yeah, having a light here or something, you would get a really interesting lighting setup on the chest being in this position here. Anyways, I think it's looking pretty cool so far. This is he broke in here clearly, so like these guys are fine here, but I would hint at like the break in, like with the pieces of wood down here. And kind of like the footprints and all of the yeah, I'm trying to think here. I would also, this sounds weird, but I think having like smoke, like fog, colored fog stuff kind of spilling into the room from outside could be really cool looking. 3D Mentor, what's up, dude? Monster Chest. You got a link here. Dang, linking from DeviantArt. I haven't gone there in ages. Oh boy. That's an amazing chest. But yeah, if you have the smoke kind of spilling in, you'll get some really cool rays hitting the fog from the outside, and then it would explain kind of this like fogginess that's coming in, or the atmosphere that's in the air that's showing all the lighting. Oof, yeah, super cool. And the fog doesn't have to fill the room; it can end maybe like somewhere around here, so it dissipates before it fills the entire room. But yeah, I would definitely search like 3D Mentor did on Monster Chest on either Pinterest or DeviantArt. You'll find something pretty cool. Pretty cool. We've got 15 minutes to go. Oh, Sarah, we're getting to your scene. Let's see here. Okay, paste this here. So this is Mad Max, right? Sarah's actually in my doing my mentorship right now. Here you are. Hello. Um, so this is already a lot better, I think, with the lighting, how versus what it was like before. I can see that you're getting the sky a bit closer. 21:55 crit sprints. Let's go. Oh boy. You can see the sky, right? Is not really like where are we at here? You need that kind of darkening in the upper area, and then I think you'd be good to go with kind of matching that. And then it's just about bleaching out the outside. It won't work like that, but uh, and then getting like a atmosphere, like a fog in there. Crit overtime, dude. There are so many to go. uh, we will not get to all of them, sadly, but I'll keep pushing. Yeah. So I think getting in some volumetric fog to just get some distance and separation with the details. I know your trees are block out and like everything on the outside is not really a focus right now. It's more about capturing that mood, that feeling, the atmosphere. And you can see here in your reference that you're pulling that there's a lot of like ground fog, like height fog that's going on, right? So the environment is dark, but then the hype fog is helping separate it. That way you're getting these types of details. These guys here. Oops, am I not? There we go. You're getting a separation here, you're getting a separation here, and there's just like that fog that kind of dissipates, and then it happens again back here. And that's allowing for that kind of layered look to happen. Exile, I don't know, man. Because that I think will really help get your scene into a position where it feels like it's part of the environment. Right now, it feels like there's no air, right? There's no atmosphere. Sky's looking pretty good though. I'm digging the comparison between the two. I don't really look into fog and light for now. I mean, you just drag in like a hype fog and see how it looks to you, because that'll go a long way. That'll do a lot for you. And then I think getting any type of smoke or like dust like this is really gonna kind of push that the apocalyptic outside that's happening. Ollie, she's building the inside as well. So I think if you were to do this, you have all the dots, you're dreading it. I think if you focus on just this shot for the outside, that's all you should do. Focus on just this shot. Capture the feeling of the outside. You have the camera moving into moving to the building really slowly. We get the dust particles kind of like blowing around and just showing the outside is just this wasteland that you can't live in. And then you get inside and it's a very different story, right? I don't think you need to show anything else outside other than this shot, because this can get really engaging overall without having to like look around and see and make sense of the things. As you can see, there's actually not all that much going on here. It's more of these kind of like rock like formations sticking out and then going into the sand or dirt. Maybe making this a little bit more red yellow, but I think a lot can happen with your post processing and your LUTs, your tone mapping. This is a big step forward though by comparison of what you had before. It's popping now. It's popping. All right. Capper buddy. Copy image, paste. This looks pretty good. Very dark. Very dark. Let's do this. Instantly looks better. It's much easier to read. You can see the details. This looks quite nice. These edges are really tight, and I think when you look at the wireframe, it's actually quite surprising how much geometry is there. There's a lot of this you do not need. Like we can go in and just a lot of this you don't need, because you could, I guess maybe what I should do is actually, let's turn this one off and lower this, make the background black, and then let's do a quick wireframe. So you could do right, and then this can connect here, this can connect here, go this way. Oh man, I'm screwing it up. But I think you get the idea. You don't need nearly as much geometry as you think you do. Like you can think about this area as like a single piece, and then it just connect like that, and then you got another one here. You connect like this. There's a point there, so then that just needs to connect there. This one can connect here. It can be quite low. And yes, that is a great catch, Ollie. I'm so used to my brain just filling it in. So this is VHS. These are VHS, but they're not thick enough. They're not thick enough. I can see that you've got the plate there, like the screen like sticker thing you put on there, and you write like Simpsons season 1 through 3. Yes, I used to sit there and record the episodes. These just need to be thicker. So I would look at bringing this up. Like it's ridiculous how thick they were. Because you can see how wide that is. They were some thick boys. Thick boy. I would get some fingerprints going on here. I want to see how used this thing was, you know? Yeah, this is... where are we at here? Skills. That looks a little bit more accurate. Maybe like that. Yeah, they were thick, man. Hacks. Overall, it looks pretty nice. I would be a little careful with seeing this information so clearly. Probably tone that like half the strength of it, because you're gonna get a moire effect that happens when you zoom in and out. And then this dirtiness, I would probably err on more of like the wipe effect that you get from wiping the screen a lot, and then get some dust build up in the corners where it's just not, where you're not getting to it. But yeah, I mean, this is looking, dude, when I zoom in on this, like this alone, you could screenshot, that could be your thumbnail, you know what I mean? Your ArtStation thumbnail. Yeah, delicious. What are your opinions on using real brand names on props? I think it's more interesting if you can make yours up. It's not a problem to use real ones, just don't sell it. If you're planning on putting the stuff on the marketplace, you need to make the brands up. Yeah, Flip Flops has got it. Flip Flops has got it. New again. You finished your scene. You finished your scene. It looks great. So let's pull this down here. This looks pretty good now. There's a few issues with the foliage, like in the shadows is really dark here in the top left. But and overall, I really like the roof area. What? Hey, no problem. N1. N11. Crimson, dude, that raid, what us up? We're doing critiques. How's everyone doing? We've got about I don't know, 15 minutes or less. How you doing, man? How was your stream? We're just doing some feedback here. I actually really like this roof. Let's copy this and we'll just get nice and close in there. This is feeling really nice with the softness of the moss. Yeah, I'll keep it at red. It's easier to see. Revenge raid for Monday. What are you talking about? Nash, how you doing? 15 minutes? I don't know. No, I'm supposed to end in like 5 minutes here. But yeah, this looks pretty good. I like how you're seeing it along this edge. There are some things like this stick here it's that's what it is. It's a stick. It's very thin, right? And seeing how it's connected is really difficult. I think I would really steer away from putting this type of stuff on the image just because it pulls away from what you're looking at. Oh, you're using this to apply to college? TT, I got you, man. I got you. There's some other things like if you look in this area here, how would I do this? So come on, man. Oh my god. Just gonna do this. So this area is very bright, and like where it meets the ceiling is quite it's quite dark, right? And I think if you were to actually let's pull that down, we'll get this closer to the range that we're seeing here. And if you just erase, let's just erase that, pull this in like that. And then you look at like softening this, you can see just that alone helps connect the ceiling to the wall where it meets. So watch out for like that information kind of going away, or like this abrupt edge where it goes wall ceiling and it's immediate. Very very gamey feeling, you know, or digital 3D, very 3D. It's the same up here. Nope. I think it is midtones, but it's not going to really do what we're wanting it to do. Now it's darker than the ceiling. You almost destroyed your laptop with this project? Dang. The only other thing I would really comment, so the two things that are really sticking out to me are the trees and how the shadows are very dark. Get that subsurface going on, you'll be in a good spot. And then your grass is very saturated. I would watch out for how saturated it is, as well as like how quickly the fall off occurs. Right now, it's like the fall off is an edge, right? And what you want is to actually like kind of scatter it throughout. Don't be afraid to like put little pieces of grass in areas, and wherever you have this blank spots, try to explain those. Try to really explain why it's blank there. It can probably be just like a decal of like horse like hoof marks and like the wheels of carts and stuff going up and over this way. You know what I mean? But it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Nicely done. Congrats on finishing it as well. Okay, let's go. Let's look at this one. Look at this. So I like the idea of this TT. TT throwing my stuff in 3D scene. I'm going for painting over very soon. Tear me to shreds, mostly in regards of lighting or composition. So composition, let's just look at the tangents, right? So you've got some tangents that are on the side here where it meets this rock. These rock formations, totally Megascan, isn't it? It feels Megascan. Um, these look like cliff rocks. Yeah, it's all Megascan. Cool. Nothing wrong with that. I would look at like where these start and end and just try and break it. Like you've got these guys sticking out here. I would do that much larger and then have it like quickly fall off into the water. Right? So you've got really like a quite intense cliff edge like into the ocean. Um the scale is crazy. You're going to be doing a 2D painting on top of this, you said? I'd be careful with, well, be careful. Watch out for tangents like this. This stuff is really cool. I think if you're concept art life, yeah. I mean, if you're concepting over the top of this, it's really about like pushing these shapes, right? Where's my it's like getting these shapes to really, man, I almost want to say it would be cool if you had like rocks that kind of came out like that and had like little jaggedy pieces to them. And then you need to have like other rocks, right, popping through the piece. Uh let's see if doing stuff like this, right? Um getting that darkening behind it just to help separate it. Like that's gonna do a lot, dude. Let's see if we can grab maybe like one more. Yeah, just having pieces that are out here floating, it just helps ground everything, you know? I guess before you do that, you need to. I secretly would love to be able to do concept art. That would be amazing. There's a boat here, though. No! Careful, boat. Careful, little guy. Anyways, I think you get the point. It's like really trying to like get it to go down. How are you filling in the background behind it like that? What do you mean? You mean the darkening behind here? Like that stuff? So impressive. Big rock. I didn't move a big rock. Wait. This one, right? You misinterpreted. Yeah, it was really simple. It was just a burn in the shadows and just darkened it behind it. So kind of faked like the ambient. The other thing to mention is like this rock up here is different, right? This is a different type of rock up here. You want to make sure that it's got that same type of burn on the surface. Brain moments. Man, there's so many things I want to get better at with concepting. But this type of information, if you can, oh man, that doesn't make any sense at all. It's cool. It's cool. It's by like burning this stuff out, you can kind of try to match that feeling between the two rocks. That's not working at all, though. I'll tell you what. Anyways, yeah, I really like these. These are some Elon Musk type rocket action going on here. I would like to see some more shapes in the back that are kind of in that same vein, right? And I can't even freaking draw. No. Nope. Nope. Oh, it's because it's lighting. But yeah, getting these types of shapes in the background would be super nice. This is interesting too. I'm not getting a sense of depth in the water. I think if this became deeper looking, then I think you'd be in a better place. But if you're gonna be concepting on this stuff, man, I would just go for it. It's concept time, you know. Just think about silhouettes and shapes and how you're layering things. What's the focal point, right? What is the thing you want us to focus on? Is it these rings? Because those rings need to move. They need to move maybe like over here. That way you're not getting that problem with the clipping. I wonder if I can. I'm curious now. Pretty good job. Dang, that's crazy. Anyways, I digress. So, yeah, this is looking cool though, man. Just think about framing. Right now, what you're seeing is uh, all my mishaps on top of your work. Right now, what you're seeing is this. Hang on here. You're seeing this, this, and that, right? And if you want to be focusing on the the piece in the middle, what you need to be doing is like, I'm gonna just draw this frame here. You probably want to build that piece so that if we look at the composition of it, I like this being here, and it could go like that. This one maybe a little further back, and then this one like right here, and then maybe you can have some framing here. That way you're doing this in your composition. I'll just bring that back real quick. Just freeze on it for a second and get the next one up here. Alexander, what's up, man? I think you and Jamie are going to be the last one. For Leo, I am sorry. I'm sorry. Phew. Is that you, Alexander? Okay. Let's go here. So honestly, this looks pretty sick already, man. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying about you're like, mostly just need to fix the dark spots being too dark. Anything else that sticks out? This one's beautiful, man. Maybe the size of the boards on the ground. I think this is actually quite distracting. These gaps in the boards. Let me see. Yeah. I'm like, just hide it. Because I think with those gone or thinner, it's much easier to understand that it's wooden floorboards, right? Let me just bring that edge in a little bit. The edge is thinner, and you can see how like it's no longer a distraction to the overall image. Let's look at your colors. Usually what I do is I'll just blow it out real quick with saturation. Just see where all the colors are at. And then seeing if there's anything that's kind of interesting that you could pull from that. Your heart will go on. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that, man. Because there's certain elements that are just not, like this plant actually feels like it's not in the scene because of the way the color is on it. But if we let's see if we can eyedrop, turn that tolerance up, and then contiguous kind of happening. Let's deselect this, copy paste to Rooney. Yeah. I think if we could turn the brightness up on that and really like pull that color out, and we'll just erase where it's kind of looking funny and use the highlight of the light source to bring the color. See, now you're getting that green in there. Really nice, right? You get variation in your color palette while also maintaining the kind of warm overall scene that you're getting. Remember that outside is blue, right? If it's not the light source, it's a blue lighting. So you're gonna want to like try and pull some blue colors into this scene when possible. Let me see if man, I can't remember what I was using. Chris showed me. Yeah, see if you bring your blues up in your color balance here, right? It was here in the yellows. Bring your blues up, then you get that contrast that we're looking for in the lighting. You could then, where your shadows are, you could do like an AO pass, and then separate out your shadows, and just kind of bring in that kind of colder color on the outsides, maybe a little bit in here, and then really just lower this opacity down, and then just bring in a little bit of that color. That'd help you kind of pull it in a little bit. This could also maybe be a little bit more saturated. And you want a little color. Always nice. Nice. Now let me see if we copy this image. Let's just paste it on the top here. You see, now you're understanding a lot more about the materials. This is still very yellow. Might want to adjust that. But you can see the difference in like the overall color. Very cool though. This area right here feels super nice. Maybe your dust is too like bright in the pixel. Very nice. Very nice image though. You can see the ground too when we bring this back, and you see those pieces, how the gaps in the wood kind of give this artificial feeling. Whereas like even if those gaps were just offset a little and thinner, it would go much further, right? Anyways, yeah. Super cool. Nice scene. Really, really polished. Jamie, Dodger, let's go. Final one. Okay, so Jamie, let's bring this over here. Okay. Work in progress UE4 environment, looking for advice on what kind of details I can add to it to help sell it. Any other general critique? Be brutal, it can take it. I'm not going to be brutal, I'm going to be honest, right? Yeah, this got skate park vibes for sure. I think right now, so this surface is too bright. Uh, so this is too bright. This is too bright. So you're getting some like blowout going on here, right? Everything's very clean, and I don't understand what the material types are. So if this is like a metal, making sure that the material is reflective. It's a mod for a map and a skating game. Oh, cool. Is it a PBR based game? Bram, that's hilarious. No, I mean for the mod, is the mod PBR based? Like, is the game that you're modding it for, is that PBR or is it old school? PBR? Okay. Yeah, so when you get to texturing these, really pay attention to like what the roughness of this paint is versus this material. If you can place decals, you said the mods in UE4, right? I guess of course it's PBR unless they're going against that. Um, you're gonna want to place decals and get just contact anything in here. Like in this area, that edge is really clean right now. If you can, what is that? Is that paint on the wall? What is that? Is this a slanted wall and like a paint line? Because I think it'd be interesting to draw a paint line along the wall and then just like from that take the bottom half and paint it with a value that's similar to like maybe this but like this color, right? That way you're just getting some separation because then you can put different roughness on it compared to this. Just make sure this isn't blown out. And I think when it comes to a skating game, I mean this looks fine to me. It's about getting the materials to read well. Yes, very good point, flip flops. Graffiti on the walls, that's a big plus for sure. Making sure that the materials aren't too bright because someone who's skating and then there's in a game, that contrast is going to be brutal on the eyes. So just make sure that everything is like toned down in brightness when it comes to these like higher range materials. And is there a language in the game for what you can grind on? Like for example, these bars, like is this does that get painted a color so that you know that you can like jump over things or like grind down this thing and slide over this? Like is there what is that bar thing for? For skating. That's it. It's not by design of like functional other than for like skate parks, right? Like having this like curved surface here, you're just asking for trouble unless it's skating. As long as it's around 90 degrees, you can grind it. Yeah, dude, crazy. Okay. I mean, it's really about the decals. I think it's a little early to be commenting on this, but from a functionality standpoint, I think for skating, it's looks fine. It's really about that readability and understanding that you're coming up on a rail. And I think right now, with the way that you have stuff mapped out, it looks like you would know that you're coming up on a rail. This is a little strange. I'd probably just clean that up and just end it at the paint. I don't think I also think that like this type of surface, this ground texture wouldn't be in this area because like imagine trying to lay that out everywhere. That'd be brutal. And skating on that would be a nightmare. So it probably needs to be a smoother material and then once you have that, then you're going to be needing to put decals to break up the surface, whether it's a combination of puddles and or like grease stains where cars parked and stuff like that. Definitely add those types of those details. And graffiti, of course. But yeah, I think you would also, just for readability, I would make these yellow or paint the tops of them yellow or something. But yeah, cool. 30 plus minutes. Oh, get out of here. All right, I got to get out of here. We can't raid the people we normally raid. Who are like, what are we doing? Is this focus zoom? There we go. There we go. Hello. Well, I know I appreciate you guys all hanging out this evening. Thank you for all the subs, the follows, the resubs. It's super nice. I really, really appreciate it. If you have not, you should join our Discord. Where's that button? We've got a link tree here. Does that work? It's not working. Why is it not working? Is that there you go. Anyways, we got a link tree there. It's got access to our website, our Discord, our everything. Be sure to check out the podcast as well that Alex posted today. Talks about some really interesting topics with teaching and just what the heck's a expert environment artist, you know? Let's go 3D. And then what are we looking for? I'm not seeing a stream. I'm not seeing an art stream that looks good. Do you guys have one that you would like us to raid? Oh man, there's no vaccine over here for me yet. Maybe in May.